Cyber attacks are a growing concern these days, and our next guest has insider knowledge on how families can stay safe online. We now welcome former NSA hacker Kyle Hansloven. He's also the founder and CEO of Huntress, which is a cybersecurity company. Kyle, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for taking the time. Let's get right to it because we're moving into this era of smart homes, internet-driven devices. What new cybersecurity risks does this pose for families, and how can we stay secure on these devices?
So I remind folks, especially my parents all the time, hey, think about who's making these devices. And when you're buying some of these shady ones, one-off brands off Amazon, etc., you got to consider, is this thing being updated like, a laptop, like a phone, etc.? And you never know just how good or how bad the quality of that software might be. So even though I am a super nerd, I still use Alexas, I still use Google Homes. I just prefer to advise folks, keep to the major brands that are going to get automatic updates. And make sure you have them plugged in directly behind your router. For the average person, that just means plug it into your Wi-Fi device, stay happy and understand it's 2024. We can all get compromised.
All right. Yes, unfortunately, but we can, learn these tricks. And one of them that I worry about, cyberbullying on social media. I'm a mom of 2 teenagers, and, you see all these threats out there. What steps should we be taking if we suspect that our child is being targeted?
Yeah, dad of 3 teens, so totally understand. And with that said, now more than ever, cyberbullying and even online predators really try to isolate your kiddos away. What I mean by that is they use confidence. Usually it's happening nowadays more in-app or in games. It could be something like Roblox, where it starts with a gift, warming up to somebody, making sure you feel comfortable. But the reality is it's usually just a ploy to kind of pull them away, whether to pull them away from their items, truly bullying them, putting them down, or in the cases I really get uncomfortable with are the ones where predators actually not only bully, but maybe even try to take that isolation, like stay up a little bit later, let's play tonight, etc. Not just to bring down the morale, but to be able to corner them into situations. And I'll tell you, just like old-fashioned parenting, this comes with a connection with your kiddo. This means talks ahead of time about what's the actual risk, what to look for, and making sure, the more that they pull away and isolate, the better chances they are for someone to put them down.
Yeah, and we take the phone out of the bedroom at night. That's something that we do that works for us.
Great advice.
Let's talk about what we families can do to recover from a ransomware attack. There are so many of those that you hear about these days. And is there anything we can do to prevent falling victim in the first place?
So I'll tell you, every normal geek is going to tell you the same old advice. Make sure you have antivirus. Make sure you're up to date. And I'll tell you, those are good pieces of advice. However, hackers more often than not are now moving to your accounts. And I'll tell you, I'm the first to be annoyed by that random extra code. They call that 2-factor authentication that you have to enter. But that silly little step can not only prevent businesses from being hacked, but also individuals. And what I mean by that is when you do get ransomware, the age-old question is, what do you do about it? Do you pay for it? And I just can't encourage folks more. Most of your apps, most of your software have a cheap, budget-friendly way to do backups. It just takes a little bit of time to enable these suckers. So if you're watching, if you're enjoying this, maybe tonight is the time where you're BSing with the family to maybe ask everybody, do you have those pictures backed up, etc.? Because there's nothing worse than asking somebody to, hand over your data back for, a fee of $10,000 to maybe $100,000, right? Nothing's good about ransomware.
Okay, Kyle Hansloven, just priceless. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your insight. And we want you all to know that you can learn much more on Kyle's website. It's kylehansloven.com or at huntress.com. Daytime will be right back.